V3.
Yo, it's This Life with V3, the podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Life with V3 podcast with your girls, Shelly, Sasha, and Latoya, where we have meaningful conversations about this beautiful life we have with God, music, family, and friends. Hello, listening and viewing audience. We have some special guests in the building today.
Woo!
Beautiful, talented young ladies. They happen to be artists and singers just like us, and producers, their wives, their mothers, daughters, involved in the ministry at their home church. And did I mention they were beautiful?
Who are these people?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
They are none other than Shelly, Sasha, and Latoya, also known as V3. Everybody give it up for V3. Ladies, how are
Yay.
you doing today?
We are well.
Doing good.
How are you, third member of V3? It's weird talking
Beautiful.
about ourselves in the third person. Okay.
Well, I felt like, every time we have a guest, we give them such a beautiful introduction because we want to make them feel welcome. And I felt like we deserved the same thing, you know.
Okay.
Aw,
That's
I like
nice of
that.
you, Toya. Okay.
Plus, it's our podcast.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But yes, I am doing well. And listening audience, viewing audience, we wanted to talk today with you all a little bit about how we got started. Just have a simple conversation about how we got involved in the music industry and just give you guys some more information, personal information about ourselves that you guys may not know. So
Yeah.
that's what we're doing today.
And
Nice.
about some of the things we encountered in
Yeah,
this industry.
we'll need a part 2 and a part 3 and a part 4. And a part 5.
Right.
Yeah.
So, does anybody want to start? Shelly?
Well, we're sisters. For those of you that don't know, we are sisters, blood related. We have 3 older sisters, Lisa, Tony, and Tina.
Mhm.
And we pretty much all got started in music because our mother is a prolific singer-songwriter herself, and her father before her was also a musician and a singer and a songwriter. So we come from a lineage of musicians and um, singers, and our uncles and cousins and different ones on my mother's side are all involved in music. So music has always been a part of our life ever since we were young children. And watching our grandfather minister, because he was a an apostle as well. And he had a strong deliverance ministry there in Denver, Colorado. So watch Apostle Beecham get up there and play his guitar and sing songs. We always saw him. And my mother was actually the organist. Our mother was the organist at the church, and she had a children's choir, and she wrote children's music when she first, started writing and released albums. She was also a DJ there in Denver, Colorado, a gospel DJ. So we heard her on the radio every week. So she introduced us to a lot of music and the latest cutting edge gospel music. My mother was always on point as far as the music. And when she started writing, she wrote many, many songs. And one of her most popular songs was "I Don't Want No Peanut Butter and Jelly."
Yes, I remember
And
presenting
yeah,
it to us.
yeah. She actually recorded that with her children's choir, and the Truthettes did a version of it. And the song was very, very big and very popular. And to see her still getting royalty checks for
Yeah,
that song today is like amazing. And
awesome.
also, like, when the song was reintroduced to today's society through meme, and we're
Mhm.
like, "Mom, there's a meme of your song." She's like, "What is a meme?" So we had to like show her and tell her like what people were doing with the song, and like it was still getting spread around. So she, I feel like, was our biggest musical inspiration, because from
Wow.
her, we learned how to harmonize, and everything that we know about music, I feel like we learned from my mother. because she would actually sit us at the table. There's 6 of us, so she had 2 of each note, 2 sopranos, 2 altos, and 2 tenors, and she would make us harmonize and sing the songs that she was writing, and that's actually how we started singing. So, fast forward to where we are now, we started singing together, the 3 of us, because the 6 of us always sang together. We grew up singing in church because our parents became pastors. So we grew up singing in church, and the 3 of us actually shared a room, and the older 3 siblings shared a room. And so Latoya was the first writer out of our group, our age group. And she started writing songs, at an early age. You were like a preteen when you first started writing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she's like a preteen, like 13, 13, 14. And she would teach Sasha and I the songs, and our favorite place to sing was like the bathroom.
Bathroom
So we
still
would
is.
go, yeah, we would go in the bathroom and harmonize. And one day my mom actually heard us singing, and she was just like, all of you can sing, but she's like, there's something special about the 3 of you, your harmony together. There's something special about it. Because Toya, like, I don't know, like, she is from a young person, she was able to come up with these vocal arrangements that were just like phenomenal to me for the age that she was. And she would come up with these different riffs and runs for us to try, like in her vocal arrangements. And so we would be in the bathroom doing it. And my sister started dating a producer. Our older sister, Tina, started dating a producer, and we actually did a demo with him in Detroit. We went to Studio A in Detroit, and that's where we did our first demo. And our demo somehow got into the hands of 2 gentlemen who were looking to start managing artists. And at the time, their company was called Creative 2 Management. And so our demo got into their hands, and I don't want to say the rest is history, because I want people to know like all the steps, you know what I'm saying, that we actually went through. So we had no clue, because we sang, this was when we were teenagers. We sang, just in our local assembly. We always served at our own church first,
Yeah.
and we didn't know like what we were doing, because we did everybody's stuff, like basketball games, talent shows. Yeah.
Weddings.
Yes.
Ministering at the prisons.
Yes. We did
Yeah.
like everything. We went to youth detention centers, everything. And we didn't know like it was preparing us for something bigger. But I think still at the time, we didn't fully understand about it being a ministry or a calling. We just knew we liked to sing, and music was something we always did, and we just wanted to do it. So in making our first demo and it getting into the hands of Creative 2 Management, they contacted us, and they wanted to meet with us and actually, hear us sing in person, So one of our managers flew in from out of town and came to our church, and we sang for him. I think it was a Sunday, like after church or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
Like we
yeah.
sang for him a Sunday after church, and after we sang, we were like, yeah. We thought, we sounded pretty good and we had nailed it. And he's like an industry person, so he just sat there and looked at us. So we were like, okay, like, because normally people will give us some type of response or something, but he didn't. He had a straight face, and he was just like, okay.
Right.
And that's the thing, is like when you're around like your family and friends all the time, they are just the best support team.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you actually can suck and they're just still like, yeah.
Well, they're your biggest cheerleaders.
Right.
Yes,
Not
so-
that I thought, I don't think that we sucked necessarily.
No, we didn't.
But we
I'm just
just weren't
saying, like, he's
we
heard everybody, you know what I'm saying?
exactly.
So, he's just like,
Exactly.
"Okay," you know?
Yeah, because I knew that he wouldn't be there if he didn't feel like we had something special,
That's
but at the
righteous.
same time, what we had needed to be developed because
Right.
we weren't ready to do it, like, on a larger scale yet, like, even though we thought we were ready, there was still we were very young, and there was a lot about, the music industry that we just didn't know, we were a bit naive when it came to a lot of the aspects of the music business.
Yeah,
So from there, um, they showed interest in wanting to sign us and manage us. And so we discussed things with our mother and with a lawyer. And so, you know, I would advise anyone that's getting into any type of music business to study up on it. That's what I would advise, like study, read
Yeah.
books about the music industry and different things like that, because what we didn't know was that even though we wanted to sing about God and minister to people, the music business and music industry is very much a business. It's
mhm,
very much an industry, and most of the people there are doing a job. They're putting you together as a package to market to people to buy to make money. So that
mhm,
was one thing that we didn't really consider. We just knew that we had a gift and we wanted to use it and uplift people. That's really what we were looking to do. But we were also young, very young women. And I would say at that time we were girls because, I don't know that we'd fully matured into our womanhood at that point. So we were excited about just having the opportunity.
yeah,
And so when they told us and we looked over the contract with the lawyer and all the things, the lawyer, let us know it was a good situation. There wasn't anything about it that he saw that was bad. So we went ahead and signed with them, and then the work began with, you know, our development process. Does
Mhm.
anybody want to take it from here? I did the beginning.
well, yeah, we continue to develop, I mean, going back this is Toya, going back to, even, when Shelly was mentioning that we were, trying to sign with our manager at the time, and we were singing, every song we thought was a hit or whatever, and he kinda was just looking at us. I don't think
Yeah.
anything really truly prepares you
No.
for the industry, you know,
Yeah.
because in your mind you think, well, I can sing, or I have these songs and I'm ready, and they did take the time to develop us. Um, One of the things that we did get to do is at the time, Demita was signed to the same management, and they used her as a key piece to develop us, because even though we were singing, in front of our church and at talent shows and different things, we've never really been in front of really, really large audiences. And we didn't know how to truly engage an audience. We would just get up and just use our vocals, but Demita, and Dietrich at the time, they showed us how to involve the audience, how to use all of yourself, not
Yeah.
just your voice.
Yeah.
Use your face, smile, look at someone in the audience, sing to them, use your arms, use your feet, your legs. We started doing moves.
I
Yes.
think because we never considered the entertainment aspect. We never looked at it
No,
as entertaining a crowd, so we didn't really get
no,
that
we
part.
knew how to dress nice, look
Yeah.
presentable, and sing. And most of the times when we did sing back then, we kind of looked at each other and fed off
Yeah.
each other. But
Yeah.
they really showed us the art of involving the audience, because, you don't want to forget about them.
Yeah.
Right.
that was different, you know what I'm saying? Because we're used to just moving side to side, to the beat, but actually really moving and also loving, enjoying what we're doing up there because the
Yes.
audience can feed off of your energy, you know?
Mhm.
So for a period, they had us doing backgrounds for Demita because she came out with her first solo project. So we were a part of that process, just going around with her. And that's what we would like to encourage anybody as well that is trying to get into the music business is to get behind the scenes somehow. If you can find somebody that you can shadow and really get in it behind the scenes and see if this is something that you feel like you want to do, you
And
know?
what if this is what God is calling you to do too?
Amen, Sasha.
Pray about it.
Yeah.
Because you literally, I mean, we're outsiders looking in. So you see people on these award shows and, going to the concerts, you see them on stage, but you really don't know, what's happening off the stage, behind the scenes.
Yeah, and who they
Right.
are really behind the scenes. Because when you're behind the scenes, I feel like one thing you get to do too is see the type of artist you want to be and the type of artist you don't want to be.
I
Yes.
agree with that.
Really just because whoever you are already, the type of character you have is only magnified when you get a stage or a platform. Because once people start to know you, sometimes it could bring out the best in you or the worst in you. So you definitely get to see like, okay, look, I can see how that person is, and I definitely don't want to be that type of artist, or there's some things that I can glean from this person, because they're like amazing on and off the stage.
Mhm. Right. Because 'Cause we've seen some things with people not being as kind.
We could talk about that.
Oh, yeah, that can be another show.
Sure.
No,
But
I'm just saying.
we want to give a shout out to Tamita, being one
Yay.
of our mentors and giving us the opportunity to sing behind her, shadow behind her. I mean, she truly has become a dear, dear sister and friend
Yes.
to us. So we appreciate her so much. And, we're going to have her on the podcast as well to talk to her further about that. But from there, from singing backgrounds with her, and we eventually got our deal with EMI Gospel.
Mhm.
And I believe we signed with them in 2003, Sasha?
I
I
believe it was around that time, and that's
I
when we went to work, like, working with a lot of their producers and a lot of the producers that Creative to Management had, just a lot of demoing. That's
yes,
what
but
I
that
remember.
was
But
very tedious.
oh my gosh.
'Cause that's another thing that we had to learn too, is this we did our demo, our
Mhm,
first demo that got in the hands of our manager, but then actually working on the project,
mhm.
we learned so much about ourselves, you know, and how we work, what time of day is better for us vocally,
Right.
uh,
And
you know
sometimes you couldn't choose it. Sometimes you couldn't choose it. Like, sometimes the producers were wanting to start sharp in the morning, and you had to be ready.
Yes, and you had to get up even like if our studio time was maybe like 10
Mhm,
to 12. I mean, you need to be up probably at 7, just to wake your
mhm,
voice up,
mhm.
'Cause right now while I'm speaking, I still sound like I but I'm saying you have
Yeah,
to
but
your
we
voice.
learned that in vocal training, remember? Because they also put us in vocal training. So not only were we doing backgrounds, but we had vocal training
Yes.
as well with Robin, Miss Robin.
With what
Yes,
and what not to eat.
Yes, what
That
and
was hard.
yeah, that was hard. We had to change our diet. We had
Yes.
to run in the Georgia heat, in the heat of day.
yes, she
Mhm.
wanted us to work on our breathing because
Yeah.
when you are
Mhm.
singing on stage,
Stamina.
you're constantly moving around and you have adrenaline. So we had to work on, controlling our breathing and still being able to sing.
Mhm.
So that was different. I just remember her telling us, "Baby, when I get finished with y'all gonna come out as pure gold." Here we go.
She would be like, "Shoot," that was her favorite word, "Shoot. Y'all going outside, shoot." We had to run before we even got started with our
Mhm.
vocal lessons. She would make us go outside. I was
Run
on
or speed walk, remember?
Yeah, I was on
10
the
minutes.
jog walk program. Um
Hour.
'Cause it would be so hot, like, we didn't go to
Mhm.
her in the morning all the time, so sometimes it was afternoon, it was really hot, and that taught us a big lesson too, just of disciplining yourself,
Yes.
um, as an artist, because it's like you have to think that people are paying money to come and see you,
Mhm.
and even if they're not, you always wanna be at your best, because and ooh, I couldn't imagine even back then, um, people with their cell phones just recording you and, like, waiting to post a bad note that you did so they can, like, make a meme out of you or something. That's, like, so
Mhm.
much so
Yes.
much pressure.
Such a different time.
Yeah, it was a different time, so people weren't really doing that at the time, but you still always wanted to be at your best and,
Yes.
sound your best. So we
And
cut out dairy?
yes, meat products. I mean,
Yes.
she switched
Yeah.
to turkey meat instead of us eating beef.
Yeah, she said beef, no pork, cut
Hun
down your
No dairy.
sugar,
Cut
100.
down on sugar, yeah,
which
that
is
was another
still
one.
hard for me. Mhm.
We had to change the juices, no more sodas, no chocolate, things
Yeah,
with caffeine, and all of this was to help us with vocal recovery because
yeah,
sometimes we could sing real hard because we're still active in church, we're singing in the choir and different things. So
yeah,
this was, to help us to not lose our voice, to recover our voices more quickly, and a lot of those things that she introduced to us, we're still practicing today. It's amazing,
right, right.
years later.
Mhm.
But, yeah, going back to, us doing demos, we signed to EMI Gospel, and we're doing all of these recordings, Sasha said, with EMI producers, and we're also working with producers that our management, put in place for us. So it was just a lot of time just being in the studio because we did everything in Nashville.
Right.
So, I know the studio that we were in with
Yeah,
our managers, it was like there was no windows, you just kinda go in this room and say,
Mhm.
"Goodbye, world," and you're in there for, like, from morning to night.
20
Right.
hours, there was times I felt like we didn't see the light of day. We would
Right.
go in the morning, and when we came out, it would be, like, dark, but they would let us, eat
Yeah, we took
by the
breaks
time.
to go outside to get fresh air
Yeah, because
so you won't
sometimes
get
you just
frustrated.
have to step away, yeah, so you won't
Mhm.
lose your cool because it is hard. We were working with different types of people. You
Mhm.
have to work with people that have different personalities, um, different things about them. Every producer we worked with was a male producer. So,
Got
as females, sometimes it was hard to get our opinions across and get our voice heard because some male producers don't want to hear what you have to say. And that's just true. You know what I'm
Especially
saying?
when you and Toya write most of the songs, but we would hear things a certain way, especially with Toya at the time, and just wanting to get your opinion heard, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
being a creative, wanting to hear things a certain way, then they had their way of wanting to hear it, so it was just compromising, I would say.
Yeah, it's compromise, but then it's also hard just getting any type of respect when you're up
Mhm.
and coming,
Oh, yeah.
Right.
and when you're like a female. So it was for me it was a bit intimidating because our management was men. All the producers we worked with was men.
Mhm.
And so I kind of felt, at times we couldn't get our point across the way we wanted to because they would just be like, "Oh, well, it's going to be this way," or whatever. We were trying to tell them, another thing when you're a new artist is people try to recreate who you are
Oh,
and
yeah.
they try to tell you what your sound is, what your look is,
Mhm.
because they're trying to create that package that they want to create. But we were trying to tell them, no, like, this is our sound. And if you put us out here and change, what we felt was special about us, you're going to get a bad result, you know, because that's how we felt. We weren't the typical gospel group. We weren't the typical gospel singers. Our sound was just different. It was unique. And we still wanted that to be captured, even though we were, new artists. We still wanted to get our voices heard.
Yes. And I think compromise is an art. You have to
Yeah.
learn how to do that because, like I said, when you're new to everything, you seriously could think that everything you write is just a hit. And if
Yeah.
anybody says anything negative about it, I'd be
They're
like,
a hater.
God gave me that song.
Right.
Gave it to me just like this. And so you have to learn because, we were so young, especially me. It's like I was such a perfectionist and I just didn't want to hear that anything that I did needed to be changed or perfected.
You were passionate about it, LaToya.
Yeah, but that's all a part of growth. Is sometimes it's okay to change something. Your stuff is not always the best. And like you mentioned, Sasha, sometimes a producer can hear something else that could take your song to another level. And by you sometimes being stubborn or saying, nah, this is how it's going to be, sometimes you can miss on that song really being the way it needs to be. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely believe that there are some moments where you have to, if what somebody is presenting is just ridiculous, you do have to stand firm on what you have and be like, no, this is what we're going to do. But sometimes you do have to be okay with changing a verse or changing a hook, maybe just changing everything about the song, going into a new direction, So we definitely had to learn a lot about ourselves, about how to work with other people, because we always worked with just ourselves, so
Yeah.
the adjustment was working with other people. And sometimes it's intimidating, because we worked with some greats, that was in the industry,
Yeah.
but we finally got our songs. We did a lot of songs, but I can't even remember how many were on our first record.
It
That's
was
another thing.
10.
You
And I
have
believe
to,
the record,
We did like 55.
the
yeah,
record company picked the songs too. We weren't in charge of picking. That's
yes.
another thing.
So that's another part, because you could be so attached to
Yeah.
some of the songs and you're just like, oh my God, this has to go on there. And sometimes it doesn't make the cut.
Right. Because they choose what they feel like is best fitting for radio, what's going to make it on gospel, what they can push towards, all of those things. And it's all part of, the brand that they're trying to give you and, your marketability. They pick songs that they feel like listeners would enjoy, whatever audience you're targeting. They pick really according to that. And so I think I liked all of our songs, you know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
love them.
But there were songs I liked more than others or felt like, I sound great on this song. Why don't you guys pick this song, because literally like you are told sometimes how to sing a verse, and it's hard as an artist when you're trying to interpret a song and I guess emotionally put yourself in all these different places. Um, and people are telling you how to sing it. And sometimes I feel like people can do it in a constructive way where they're trying to pull the best out of you. And then I feel like sometimes people can tell you the way to do it because that's just the way that they want to hear it done. You know what I'm saying? But as an artist, sometimes that's hard because you're actually going to be on stage having to do these songs over and over and over again. That person's not going to be doing that. So sometimes looking back at it now, I wish we had been more vocal about certain things because even though people are trying to tell you how to do things, you're the face. you're going to have to deal with any repercussions, and you're going to have to perform it over and over and over again. And so you have to find aspects about work that you can inject yourself into, to make it come across how you want it to, because you have to perform it. So having to try to connect with every song, even though we didn't write a lot of them, we had to try to insert ourselves into it and
Yeah,
connect
that's right.
Yeah.
and find things that we liked about the song, even though we didn't like all the songs, you know. Um, we had to definitely learn how to um, change our way of thinking as far as what we felt like we could do and what we couldn't do, because I feel like we were really stretched in a lot of ways, vocally and just mentally, just getting prepared for the industry.
They
And
had
it
you in
all,
the studio a lot, Shirley. They
yeah,
had you in
that was one of that kind of upset us too, because when we were, you know, younger and writing and singing, we never had a lead singer. But because we knew our sound, Latoya was basically our leader. First of all, because she's the oldest, and she came up with most of the vocal arrangements and the writing. And so we trusted her ear because the things that she came up with were just really unique. So we never had a lead though. Like she would be like, Sasha, I want you to do this part,
Yeah.
you know, because she knew how our voices sounded. So it's like when you're meeting all these different producers, they have no idea how any of you sings. You know what I'm saying? So they kind of put you in the booth and like try you out, but then everybody gets this idea, y'all need a lead singer. And so we're just like, we don't need a lead singer. Like, why do we need a lead singer? And they're like, no, every group has a lead singer. Y'all need a lead singer. And so for our first album, they picked me for some reason. So that was weird for us. I feel like that was like a weird change that we had to kind of go through, was one person like singing everything. Like we never did it that way. And that wasn't us. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like what made us cool as a group was that we all sang parts, and all of us were usually a part of every single song that we did. So it was that was a little weird for us.
But you nailed it, Shirley. You like nailed
Yeah.
every test.
I don't feel like there's,
No, I tried my best.
No, I feel like how we work now is, like you said, what parts fit the voice. But I was talking to my sisters, you got to have the confidence too to lead, because when you get up there, you can't crack under pressure. You can't
Yeah.
be sitting there, you know, you got to get up there
she didn't mean crack vocally. She just meant
and hit it.
as a person, you cannot crack. Okay. You can't crack emotionally.
Yeah, under pressure, you can't, you know, just be sitting there and
Yeah.
having stage fright. Like you have to be confident if you are the lead vocal. And I felt like Shelley and Latoya, they had the confidence. They led most of the record to do it.
Yeah, but it was more than just the singing parts, because, you know, we also learned too, once you get on stage, you have to have, there's a lot of talking you got to do in artistry, which was another thing. Like we had to practice interviewing and being in front of a camera and talking about ourselves. Like those were all things that were part of our development that we had to practice doing. Sometimes our managers would practice with us, just having us do different things, um, and trying to coach us on what to say in certain situations and whatever. So that was another thing I feel like we had to get used to too, was like talking and answering questions and things like that, because we weren't used to interviewing really. And so we kind of decided who was the best, or okay, well, if they ask us this, Toya, you gonna answer that question. And if they ask us that, Sasha, you could talk about that. You know, if they ask us this, Shelly, you take it, you know. So we kind of developed a method after a while, just us knowing our strengths and weaknesses, And I feel like that's the best thing about being in a group is that you're not alone. You don't have to do everything yourself, but you're
Yes.
together and you all are doing it together. So that helped. And talking on stage was always Toya's job. Like she was like our main talker. And Sasha would be like, I don't do talking on stage. I don't
I
I
don't
don't
do
do
lead
leads.
singing
I
on
don't
stage.
I don't do
I'm
leads on
I'm
stage.
kind of an introvert. I mean, I love people. But I do deal with it's okay. A
She's
lot
an
of singers
introvert
deal
when
with
she
this.
wants to be.
Exactly.
A little stage fright. But like she said, I can't do it without them. I'm not like, going to go do a solo record or anything like that. That's just not me. But I love singing with my sisters. And I need to do better with that because I do love people. But Latoya and Shelly it was more natural for them just to get up and introduce the group and give a shout out to the pastor and
Well,
and
it's
the
something we
church
had
for
done
inviting
kind of
us.
our whole life. We have been
Yeah.
raised, in church, so we kind of had to speak to people. And
Mhm.
I'll say that too. I felt like God kind of prepared us even through that, being in a first family, because we did have to talk to people a lot and deal with people on a different level.
Mhm.
But Sasha had a list of things, and she would give us her list every time we had a performance we were going to do. She'd be like, okay, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. We'd be like, Sasha. But I did it because of what Sasha said. You don't want to stand up there and be like a duh, 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 and crack under the
Right.
pressure. So that's what gave me, I guess, boldness is I was like, somebody has to do it. Like it has to
Right.
get done. We all can't just stand up there and be like, you know, standing there.
And then our mother was a big help in that too.
Yeah.
She would be at a lot of our rehearsals, and the main thing she would tell us was when you get on the stage, you need to transform. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're
Right.
not Latoya Sasha Shelley. You're V3, so uh,
Yeah.
we definitely had to think about that when we were on stage. But literally, we can do so many episodes talking about um, our experience, our recording experience, on the road experience,
Right.
meeting people in the industry.
Well, this is
There's
just
just
episode 1. This is just all about how we got started.
Right.
yes.
So
So
much to
yeah,
talk about.
got our start with EMI Gospel, did one project with them, and our second project came out 10 years later. Our first project 2006, our second project
Yeah.
2016, which was an independent project.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't have those, we want to admonish you. They are on all the digital platforms.
Yeah.
Yes.
The records, they will bless you and
Yeah, they're
encourage.
great projects. I
Yeah,
think they were
Yeah.
great. But yeah,
Yeah.
we can get in more into that.
Toya, can you tell people how we got our name? Because I don't think we said that.
oh, because our last name
Oh.
is Benson, and there's 3 of us, so it just makes sense. I think wasn't Mom the one that came up with the name?
Yeah, she was actually the one. Because Dale them, I think, brought up the fact, yeah, okay, y'all need to solidify a name because we really didn't have a group name, I don't think, when we met them.
No, I can't
So
remember.
we didn't. I don't think we did. So we brainstormed, we all came up with things, but I think it was Mom that was like, what about V3?
Yeah, it just
Mhm.
fits. It just sounds good.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But I can't even think of one of the other names we thought about because I know we made a list, but I can't
Yeah.
even think. Uh,
Maybe we'll find it one day. But I can't remember any of the other names we came up with.
yeah, but that's pretty much how we got our start, and we're grateful. Shout out to our managers. At the time, it was Ron Stewart with us. Dell,
Yeah.
he was still with us, but we thank them for all the experiences, the development, the investment of their time, even their money, because that's
Right.
the biggest thing is having someone or having a team of people that believe in you. That
Yeah.
makes such
Right.
a difference because there are times when you struggle with even believing in yourself,
Yeah.
and the industry will do
Mhm.
that to you. You're just like, "Man, do I even belong here?" I thought I was good. I thought this is something that I wanted to do. And sometimes the things that go on there can really shake you and question, why am I doing this in the first place? So we thank God for the team of people, our managers and our family and friends that kept pouring into us, and even, us having to pour into each other. I
Yeah.
really couldn't imagine doing this alone. I'm so grateful for you, Shelly, and for you, Sasha.
I love you.
I'm grateful for y'all too. But like I
Yes.
said, we definitely wanna, you know, expound more on our experience because I feel like a lot of artists don't talk about the uncut versions of their
Yeah.
their, experience. So I
Yeah.
know as a young artist, we had a lot of questions and there was a lot of things we just had to figure out for ourselves. But if we could use our experience at all to help somebody else, you know, um, we're going to do it. So we definitely want to tell more parts of our journey. This was just basically to give you guys a glimpse into how we actually got started in the business. And the next episode will go deeper into our experience with making our first we'll dive in. We'll dive in.
Right.
We'll dive in and go down to level 2
Oh
and
my
give you
Lord,
guys,
I'm ready.
a deeper insight of what creating the album was like and the different things in the industry that we came up against because we had beautiful relationships with many of the people that we worked with, and that was one thing that I am grateful for that came out of it is all the meaningful and beautiful relationships you build with people,
Yeah,
Mhm.
um, and you're grateful for every experience. I truly am, whether it was good or bad, because I
yeah,
felt like we
right.
learned a lot from everything. Some situations sting you and hurt you more than others,
Right.
but overall, yeah,
And
overall,
it's
I
like,
feel like yeah. Go
yo,
ahead,
it's
Sash.
just like, no, you just when you said it, yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say, but pretty much there's ups and downs to it.
Yeah,
There's ups and downs to it, and sometimes you're just like, "Oh, am I really supposed to be doing this?" You start questioning
yeah,
yourself.
yeah, and
But
you start
yeah,
questioning God too.
right. When you got a word from him, you questioning God about it.
Yeah, are you sure you said? Because these people are crazy, or this
Right.
situation is crazy, or you know what I
Or why
mean?
didn't this work out?
Yeah,
Why didn't that work out? You know?
yeah,
Oh my
'Cause that's
goodness.
the thing is you have with anything in life, you have a vision or a way that you think things are supposed to happen. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? And so when they don't happen, you're just like, "Oh my God." You always have to remember that God has a way and God has a plan, and his thoughts are not our thoughts, and his ways sure ain't our ways. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I
Yeah.
thank God for everything, like you said, Shelly, everything that happened, the good and the bad, because it made us into who we are. We're definitely stronger, wiser, um,
yeah.
smarter, you
I'm
know.
better. I'm better.
More beautiful because of our experiences. And then we have a wealth of stories and knowledge that we can pass on to others. So,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Shout out to Dale Hill again.
yes.
That Latoya said it earlier for believing in us and investing in us when
yeah.
nobody else did. So we just want to thank you so much, Dale. We love you.
But you
Yes.
guys stay tuned for part 2.
Love you guys.
Love y'all.
We love you and thank you guys for joining another podcast.